Welcome to Culture Alley Mandarin. Ni hao. This is Basic Mandarin Lesson 8. Let's start by going over some of the phrases that you learned in the last lesson. I translates to 我. To be surnamed is translated as 姓. And to be called becomes 叫. While honorable translates to 贵. The question particle is 呢. What about you or and you becomes 你呢. And lastly, may I ask is translated as 请问. Great! Let's review the rest by simulating a conversation between Wang Peng and Leo. We will first converse in English and then in Mandarin. May I ask your honorable family name?
My family name is Li. And you?
My family name is Wang. Now let's see how this goes in Mandarin. 请问您贵姓？
我姓李，你呢？
我姓王. Good job! Here are some other words we learned in the last lesson. What is translated as 什么? And name translates to 名字, while Miss translates to 小姐, and Mr. becomes 先生. Here is the informal introduction conversation. As always, first in English, then in Mandarin.
My name is Yo. What is your name?
My name is Wang Peng. And this is how it is said in Mandarin.
我叫友，你叫什么名字？
我叫王鹏. Now, let's look at a formal conversation involving introductions. Here's the conversation in English.
Mr. Wang, what is your name?
Miss Li, what is your name? This is what it would sound like in Mandarin.
王先生，你叫什么名字？
李小姐，你叫什么名字? Let's do one final review using a conversation between Wang Peng and Leo. May I ask your honorable family name?
My family name is Li. And you?
My family name is Wang.
My name is Yo. What is your name?
My name is Wang Peng. Now, let's see how this goes in Mandarin. 请问您贵姓？
我姓李，你呢？
我姓王。
我叫友，你叫什么名字？
我叫王鹏. Excellent! Now we can start with our next topic. Today's lesson is about learning professions. This topic will teach you how to state your profession and how to ask others their professions. Let's start with an easy one. Student. The word student translates to 学生. The verb to study becomes 学, coupled with 生, 学生 becomes student. Now, let's learn the tones for this word. 学生 uses the mid-rising tone on 学 and a neutral tone on 生. Let's hear you say 学生. Once again, it's 学生. Great! Let's move on to the next profession. The word teacher translates to 老师. It originates from a combination of two words, 老, meaning old, and 师, meaning master. The two come together to mean old master or teacher. Interesting, isn't it? Let's see how the word teacher is pronounced. 老 is pronounced with a falling, rising tone, while shi is pronounced with a high level tone. Let's hear you say 老师. Once again, it's 老师. Wonderful! Let's review the two new professions we learned today. Student translates to 学生, while teacher translates to 老师. Great! Now let's try these in a sentence. Let's start with a simple one. On your screen is the breakup for the sentence, You are a teacher. Let's take a look at each word individually. You translates to 你, are becomes 是, and teacher becomes 老师. Thus, you are a teacher translates to 你是老师. Please note that there are no particles in Mandarin. While the English version translates to you are a teacher, the Mandarin counterpart, 你是老师, only translates to you are a teacher. That makes things easier for us. Let's look at another sentence. I am a student. This is what we get through an individual breakup. I translates to 我, am is 是, and student becomes 学生. Thus, I am a student is translated as 我是学生. Good job! We hope you remember that verbs in Mandarin do not change form like verbs in English. Thus, is, are, and am are all translated as 是. Alright, it's quiz time now. Let's see if you remember what we've learned till now. How do we say, you are a teacher in Mandarin? Do we say, 你是学生? Or can we say, 我是学生? Or is it, 你是老师? The correct way of saying you are a teacher in Mandarin is 你是老师. We hope you got that one right. Now we will see if we can convert the sentence we just learned into questions. If you recall, you will remember that ma is a question particle that changes a sentence to a question. Let's put it to use. Here is the breakup of the question, Are you a student? Are translates to 是. You becomes 你. The word student is translated to 学生, followed by the question particle ma. The question, Are you a student? Translates to 你是学生吗? What we are literally saying here is, You are a student? Let's try another one. Here's the breakup for, Are you a teacher? Are translates to 是. You becomes 你. The word teacher is translated to 老师, followed by the question particle ma. Thus, Are you a teacher? Is translated as 你是老师吗? Again, what we are literally saying here is, You are a teacher? Great work! Now that we've learned to say, I am a student, let's see how we say, I am not a student. Here is a simple way to negate a sentence. To answer a question in the negative, drop the ma in the end and insert a negative adverb, which is usually 不, before the verb. Recall that 不 means no and uses the falling tone. Let's hear you say 不. Good work! Now here's something tricky. 不 turns into boo. That is, it changes from fourth tone to second tone, when used alongside another falling tone or fourth tone. Thus we say 不好, but 不是. Let's try one. Here's the breakup for I'm not a teacher. I translates to 我, am becomes 是, not becomes 不, and teacher translates to 老师. Thus, I am not a teacher is translated as 我不是老师. That literally translates to I not am a teacher. Please make a note of the second tone on 不 as well. Now let's see the last sentence for today. I am not a student. Here's the breakup. I is 我, am becomes 是, not is 不, and student becomes 学生. Therefore, I'm not a student translates to 我不是学生. That literally translates to I not am a student. Let's take a quiz to see if you remember what we've learned today. How do we say I am not a student? Do we say 我不是学生? Or is it 我不是老师? Or can it be 你是学生吗? I am not a student translates to 我不是学生 in Mandarin. Great! Now let's try and have a conversation. The sentence, what's her family name, breaks up as follows. What translates to 什么. His or her becomes 他, while family name translates to 姓. Therefore, what's his or her family name translates to 他姓什么. We do not use the question particle 嘛 over here, as 什么or what already supplies the question word. Let's look at another one. Is she or he a teacher? Is translates to 是. Teacher becomes 老师, and a question particle is 嘛. Therefore, is so-and-so a teacher translates as 是老师吗? Note that we use the question particle 嘛 over here, as there is no other question particle supplied in this question. Great! Now let's review by simulating a conversation between Mark and Lisa. We shall first have it in English and then in Mandarin. Let's start. Are you a student?
I am a student. Are you a teacher?
I am not a teacher. Great! This is what it becomes in Mandarin. 你是学生吗?
我是学生。你是老师吗?
我不是老师. Great! Till now, we've learned 3 question particles, 嘛, 呢, and 什么. Let us go over the usage of each. The question particle 嘛 is used to frame yes or no type questions. A suitable example for this is 你好吗? That literally translates to you good? The second question particle 呢 is used to frame repetitive questions. For example, I'm very good, and you? Becomes 我很好, 你呢? And finally, 什么 is used to frame questions that have what as an interrogative in them. For example, was his or her family name, is translated as 他姓什么. Great! Now we can distinguish between the three types of question particles we've learned till now. Once again, it's time for the most exciting part of our journey, the culture leaf. Today, we will talk about the Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China was built over 2,000 years ago by Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of China during the Qin dynasty. After subjugating and uniting China from 7 warring states, the emperor connected and extended 4 old fortification walls along the north of China that originated about 700 BC. In Mandarin, the wall is called Wanli Changcheng, meaning 1,000-mile-long city wall. The Great Wall is one of the largest building construction projects ever completed. It stretches across the mountains of northern China, winding north and northwest of Beijing. The Great Wall of China was listed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO back in only 1987. It is one of the most appealing attractions all around the world, owing to its architectural grandeur and historical significance. Here is a picture of part of the Great Wall of China taken at Badaling, Beijing. In the next lesson, we will learn about nationalities and how to ask and tell various nationalities. We hope you enjoyed your lesson today. See you at the alley for the next one.